Hello, you just reached MRN Crew Call, presented by Hercules Tires and Grunt Style Apparel. We're currently tying up phone lines and burning through cell minutes to get you closer to the guys on top of the boxes and over the wall down on Pit Road. Thank you for holding. You are now being connected to your hosts, Sammi Joe Francis and Rocko Williams.
You know it's a good day when it's Wednesday at noon, because you're joining us for Crew Call. Welcome, welcome, welcome to MRN's Crew Call, presented by Hercules Tires and Grunt Style Apparel. I have multiple people in the studio today. I'm Sammi Joe Francis.
I'm Rocko.
I mean, these are faces and names you know, and you should know this one if you watch any race ever. We've got Travis Mack in the house.
Studio's lit
Round
today.
of applause.
You got Mack.
He got for himself, which I like. That's confidence right there. So we've got a busy show, but I want to kick it off with some breaking news. Are you ready for this?
Yes, I'm ready.
Breaking news.
Give it to me.
Okay, not this week. Next week is Kansas, right?
Yes.
And Kansas has announced a new race name.
Oh, really?
They are, let me get this right, the KC Masterpiece 400.
Ooh, all right.
So you can still,
all right.
you can totally still get tickets there. And if you already have them and you want to just explain how excited you are, you can use hashtag KCM400 or hashtag AskMRN to tell us how excited you are for the show and for the race.
Yes.
But we've got to talk about this past week.
Oh, yeah.
Lots coming up. I don't want to do it right now because we've got so much material and an amazing guest.
Yes, we do.
But we have a recap of the Dega.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see how you feel about that.
500 miles at Talladega.
And then we've got new toys on the desk.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know where these came from, but
miles.
I like new additions.
Little miles.
Take one of these with me.
Yeah. These are the trophies that you win
right.
at Dover at the Monster Miles. So
we've upgraded from clocks to...
Yes, we have the trophies.
Yeah. All right.
Well, replica trophies. The original trophies are about 4 times the size.
Yeah, they're about that big.
Yeah, they are. Well, maybe 2 times the size.
So where did these come from?
Well, these were given to me when I was on a pit crew member at Hendrick Motorsports. And we won with Jeff Gordon in 2014, I believe it was. It was 2016.
That's the little car you've put in there?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yes, we did. And then at the end of the year, Jeff gave us an additional one, or myself an additional one, and he signed it. So I just thought that was very fitting with the week being in Dover, to add a little decor to our table. So
is your house just full of like...
I have a whole room.
A shrine of...
I have the worst memory ever, so if I don't have that shrine, I'd forget everything that happened.
That's right.
Wouldn't you agree?
Collected a lot of stuff through the years, that's for sure.
I'm sure you have one twice the size of mine.
Yeah.
Well, we do have homework on the board, which let's just recap what those words are, and then we'll cover them coming up.
Oh, really?
But go ahead on the top one.
You go ahead, Travis. Have at it. You know, she always sets me up with this.
Who's your daddy?
Yep. Now, are you asking me?
I don't know. Question on the board. Who's your daddy?
And broken halos, but again, we're going to come to that homework in a little bit. And then Rocco's got homework for us, which is
I got all types
speeding.
Of stuff. What are we going to be talking about?
Speeding. It's NASCAR, so
speeding.
Speeding. Hopefully we're speeding. Down the road.
Big Mac and T-Mac, I'm going to assume you're talking about this guy.
I'm not talking about McDonald's here.
Oh,
no.
I'm talking about the Big Mac. He has so many nicknames acquired over the years in our relationship. I've known this guy for a long time. So,
does that mean I can get some blackmail out of him?
Ooh.
I don't know. When Coach was on the show, it worked well.
We're not going to talk any blackmail.
4-car versus 1 car and Big something saw.
Big something saw. You'll figure it out.
Oh, is that a censor?
Oh, you'll figure it out.
Okay. All right. Well, okay, so coming up, we're going to use our trusty screen behind us. We're going to use this guy's brain, and we're going to get more information from Rocko on this past relationship with Travis. We'll be back with more MRN Crew Call right after this.
Grunt Style. The American fighting spirit is in everything we make. We are 500 patriots and veterans strong, bringing clothing manufacturing back to the United States of America. Always moving forward, never retreating, never giving up. We are Grunt Style, and this we'll defend. Get yours at gruntstyle.com.
Kyle Petty here. My friends at Click & Close, the official mortgage provider of NASCAR, have stepped up this year to support Victory Junction through the fastest lap of the race program on NASCAR radio. So join our team. Go to clickandclose.com/NASCAR today to donate $43 or more. and help us give the gift of camp to children with serious medical conditions. That's clickandclose.com/NASCAR, and just look for the Victory Junction logo. Thanks to Click and Close and NASCAR Radio for their support this season.
You're smart, got your own trucking business, making it happen. What if I told you there was a place online where you could connect with other smart owner-operators just like you? It's an online community called Team Run Smart, where people share advice on truck maintenance, fuel savings, healthy habits on the road, and so much more, all to make your business more profitable. And it's all free. Visit teamrunsmart.com today to check it out. You'll be glad you did. teamrunsmart.com, brought to you by Freightliner Trucks.
All right, welcome back to MRN Crew Call. We're getting settled over here. It's unusual to have somebody with us the whole show, but we're very excited about it.
It's that important.
Crew Call, of course, presented by Hercules Tires and Grunt Style Apparel. We're still waiting on our Grunt Style apparel.
Ooh,
but,
nice.
you know.
Meanwhile, we do have our first crew chief in studio.
This is very exciting.
First one in studio.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
You didn't tell me that.
We're big time.
Yes.
You know,
Cool.
man.
And I don't know if you guys know, but it's the best looking crew chief and driver combo.
So they say.
Yeah, so you,
They.
is it your first year with as crew chief with Casey
Yeah.
Kane? And how has that been as a transition?
It's been an adventure. It's been a lot of fun. You know, coming from a big team like Hendrick Motorsports to a one-car team, that's more the transition for me than from like car chief to crew chief. So.
And this is not the only role you've done. Kind of touch on all the different.
He had many roles. And
He's multitasking.
let's let Dale Jr. explain this
All right.
best. You know,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I mean, I hear
Congratulations to him. He had a baby.
Oh, yeah.
I
Had a
know.
baby?
Congrats. That's so
On
exciting.
top of that, it's Kyle Busch's birthday. But Jen, if you could play let Dale Jr. tell us a little bit of Travis Mack, because he does it so well.
Yeah, Travis was on my car when Letarte was there. He was a mechanic. He left Hendrick to go to Junior Motorsports to be a car chief with Greg on the 9 and won championship with Chase. He came up with Greg to be the car chief on my car. He certainly paid his dues and has a ton of ambition. Like this guy, you're pulling the reins on him all the time, saying, you know, just be patient, wait your turn. You know, when we got the news about Greg, I said, I think Travis is the guy that you put in charge, and between him and our lead engineer, Tim O'Brien, you let them guys sort of battle the car and sort the car out throughout this weekend, and we should be fine.
That's cool.
He says that you were needing to be told to be patient.
Yeah, that was from last Richmond.
So you
I got
were
to fill in
itching.
crew chief last year.
You were itching to
Oh yeah, I've
get
been
in the
itching
role.
for a lot of years to do this job. So it's kind of been a childhood dream of mine, you know.
And now you're
If I
living the
wasn't-
dream.
Yeah, if I couldn't drive a car, I might as well be the crew chief.
And see,
That's right.
Sammy, I thought we were getting a leg up on having Travis on our show today. And then I find out, you know, you get caught up in everything that you're doing. I find out you've been somewhat of a radio floozy.
Yeah.
You've been on everything.
In the last couple of weeks.
He's
it's
been
kinda
around.
crazy.
Is that what
He
you're
was
saying?
on Dale Jr.'s podcast. He was on the Late
Wow.
Shift on Sirius XM.
That's right.
But most
It's
importantly,
like the thing
you're
that kicks
saving
that
the
off
best
is
for
Dale Jr.
last.
podcast, right? Oh yeah, then come here
Right.
last, right?
Okay. See?
Which, if you have not heard Dale Jr.'s podcast, it was a great story. I won't touch on it too much now, but you delivered your baby in the bathroom of your own house. And just the way you described that story, I knew of it, but I didn't know the particular details. I mean, it was really cool the way you described that.
Yeah. It
Sounds
was,
like you're good
really
in
cool.
high pressure situations.
That's
weird.
That's our job, right?
Yeah, totally. So how did this come to be? You being the crew chief for
Casey? Mm-hmm. You know, just really looking for an opportunity through the years. And ideally, I would have been able to stay at Hendrick Motorsports. But there's a lot of good people there, you know that. I mean, there's people waiting in line. And myself not having an engineering degree, kind of had to go off and prove myself. So this opportunity came up with Casey and a single car team. They were looking for somebody ambitious and excited to do this. So I came in and brought a lot of processes that I had at Hendrick Motorsports over the years and brought out a lot of that and applied it to our one-car team. And cars are starting to show some speed.
Yeah. Well, Casey Kane is not a new driver. I mean, to go to a team that has an experienced driver, how is that relationship and dynamic?
It's been great. Me and Casey's really been hanging out a lot, getting to know each other. That's been a lot of fun. He's a racer at heart. He really is. He's just like me. I mean, he sleeps and goes to bed thinking about this stuff and wakes up. First thing he's thinking about is the race car and what we could do to get better. So we're both the same way in that aspect. We both have little kids, so we have a lot to talk about.
So speaking of a lot to talk about, let's talk about Dega.
All right.
How was that for you?
Dega was fine. I mean, going there through the weekend, it was kind of calm and practice. Didn't get caught up in that big wreck. So that was good. We got to build a brand new car going to Dega, so we were excited about that. Really never got to see what the car could do in practice. Qualifying, we missed it a little bit, to those Fords and stuff. But we really felt like we had a car to race. So start out the race, we got a little behind there. We lost the draft, but come back and Casey drove it right to the front. And that was really fun to see.
Yeah, it was. And it's funny that you mentioned that because, back in the day, I say that, back in the day, Casey was never really labeled as the best plate racer. And this is my opinion as a pit crew member. I just really didn't look at him as a threat. But over the past 5 years, he's really, changed his game. I don't know what he has done differently, but he's been up there.
I think he's been patient. I think he's been really patient, and he's starting to learn to.
You said he's been impatient?
He's more patient now.
I
believe he's being patient, waiting for his opportunity, and he just kind of creeps to the front.
I was pulling for y'all with 55 to go. Y'all were running that top 5 for a moment.
That was awesome. Man.
I know it was.
Even Casey was commenting, like, where's all my friends? We were surrounded by about 10 Fords. So,
and it's funny that you bring that up because that was the most frustrating part to me. You would see those Fords group up and mob up, and then it came out before the race that they had a meeting, a design meeting by the manufacturer mandating that you work together up to a certain point. And, it just made me think as a crew chief, how is that? I mean, is that typical for plate racing or is that something unique to Ford?
As the Chevy teams, we tried to get together and work, but we knew plans changed. So, I mean, every lap plan was changing, where we're running out on the racetrack versus, next thing I look up, we're up to second place behind the Toyota. So, to me, we had to do what was best for our team and our car. So if it meant pitting with the Fords or waiting and pitting with the Chevys, I was going to do what was best for us.
Let's test out this homework. What do you think speeding is on the board for? Travis?
Speeding?
Yes.
Probably speeding on pit road.
As it relates to Dega, it's so challenging.
And our show because we focus on pit crews.
That's right.
So actually, if you could just... How difficult is it, Talladega with the packages there? Yeah. How difficult is it to woe yourself down and to get on pit road? And Jen, if you could play the video of the green flag pit stops behind us, I mean, at the same time, you'll see.
Oh wait, I'm gonna veto this because I've got a very important role coming up. So, you can see it behind us, but we're gonna come back to this.
Oh yeah, we have such section for you.
We've got very, very important roles for me coming up. So, okay,
as you see, Travis,
we'll speed past this. See what I did there? And go 4-car versus 1-car, and then we'll come back to this video. I promise. What's 4-car versus 1-car?
Well, the 4-car versus the 1-car is basically coming from Hendrick Motorsports, being a part of a 4-car team.
That's right.
How has the transition been on a 1-car team? Because from my perspective, you on a 4-car team, you're sharing resources, you have a lot of egos, but when you're at a 1-car team, it's all about you.
Oh, for sure.
It's all about yourself. It's
That's
like
not a bad thing.
No, I don't think
so.
so.
That's a great thing.
I think it's been great for Casey because it's been 100% about Casey.
Yeah.
So we don't have to worry about any teammates. We don't have to worry about what anybody else is doing. It's 100% focus on Casey and what he needs in the race car to go fast. So,
do you think that works for both of you? As far as I know that you were saying earlier that there was some impatience.
Yeah.
So to be able to put 100% into one person, one car, do you think that helps you guys connect more?
Oh, for sure. Like just our communication, asking him what he needs to feel in the car. We looking back through all through his notes. I mean, we've gone all the way back to Evernham days, Red Bull days. Just trying to understand what he liked about the cars then versus what he had at Hendrick Motorsports the last few years and what we're trying to give him now. So it's been a lot of fun, especially watching him run dirt cars. And, that's been really cool.
Travis, do you listen to country music?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Do you have any, clue of who sings those songs up there? Do you know Who's Your Daddy?
Who's Your Daddy and Broken.
Who's Your Daddy is a veteran country singer.
Yeah, that is...
Kenny Chesney.
No.
Oh.
Every time.
Trace Atkins?
The Kid
No,
Dog.
it's Toby Keith.
Toby Keith.
And then
I had to look.
Yeah, and Broken Halos, you can't listen to country radio without hearing it right now.
Right.
And that's Chris Stapleton. And do you know what these have in common?
I do not.
Okay, well, since you're going to be busy Memorial Day weekend, this is more for our viewers. But the Country 500 is coming up Memorial Day weekend. It is at Daytona. And it has artists, like we said, Toby Keith and Chris Stapleton, some other, small names on there like Sugarland, Billy Currington. But you can get your tickets at country500.com. And if you're not in Charlotte, you definitely need to go down to Daytona and enjoy that concert. We'll be back with more MRN Crew Call right after this.
Chris Crockett here with one of the heads of our Toyota racing family, Martin Truex Jr.
Doing great, Chris. Thanks for asking.
I hadn't asked, but was about to.
Great second question, Chris. Car feels great, and no pressure because of last year's results.
How do you...
Know what you're about to ask?
Yeah, you're...
Blowing your mind? Relax, Chris. Being out in the lead is what I do best.
That is...
amazing. I know.
NASCAR and Toyota Racing. With a family like this, who knows the places we'll go this season? Learn more at toyotaracing.com. Toyota. Let's go places. NASCAR is a registered trademark of the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, Inc.
The Country 500 Music Festival is back at Daytona International Speedway. How do you like me with Toby Keith, Chris Stapleton, Dirks Bentley, Sugarland, Billy Currington, and so much more. Country 500 Memorial Day weekend, May 25th, 26th, and 27th. For tickets and information, visit country500.com. Sponsored in part by Budweiser.
Here's a special message for those of you who owe the IRS at least $10,000 or more in back taxes. The IRS has special programs in place that could eliminate or reduce your tax debt by thousands of dollars. The IRS is currently accepting reduced settlements and other favorable programs. You may qualify for substantial savings, so get the help you need. Take down the number now for the Federal Tax Management Hotline, 800-242-1706, 800-242-1706.
Thank you for calling MRN Crew Call. If you're not 100% satisfied with our product, remember that a little disappointment is good for building character. Now, here's Sammi, Joe, and Rocko.
And Travis, of course. Welcome back to MRN Crew Call, presented by Hercules Tires and Grunt Style Apparel. And I am in a new position. I just thought I'd spice it up a little and, role play.
That's a good-looking car behind you right there.
It is a good-looking car. So
Travis,
let
what is that,
let me move
Travis?
so I can
That is our Dover car.
That's your Dover car. And,
yeah, first sponsor on that thing.
I'm liking the
It
colors.
looks good. The yellow looks great.
You had the flat black, the black at
Yeah, I
Talladega,
like that
the Pro
too.
Core, and the black. That
I
looked
feel
good.
like I should be. Is there?
I've liked all of our
one
pace schemes
vowel?
this year. They've really looked good.
That's a good-looking car. And, well, Sammi,
Yes.
we have a crew chief.
Yes.
In the studio. I want to take
Yes.
advantage. Normally, I'm always yelling at the screen at pit stops myself. I'm going to invite you to help
Great.
join the conversation.
Okay.
Jen, if you could go back to the
I'm
green
just gonna
flag
point
pit
things
stops.
out.
Yes, Sammi, you do what you do.
So this is the video that
Yes.
I vetoed
yes,
earlier.
you did veto me, but these are the green flag stops. And if you could just explain, why is it so hard? Why are there so many penalties getting on pit road, in Talladega in particular, do you think? Or do you know? What would
There's
you say?
a lot of things adding up to the problems, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you're out there running 200 miles an hour, wide open, not using your brakes. And places like Daytona and Talladega, we don't put the biggest brakes on the car. We don't put short track brakes. We put the smallest brakes possible.
Why is that? For weight?
For weight and rotational weight and just speed.
Okay.
Do you know how many penalties there were?
A lot.
Over 12. I think
we
believe
did
there
not
was
get
12.
penalized.
And over 12, 11 of them were speeding penalties.
Wow.
And there were a few multiple offenders. Denny Hamlin in particular, he had that's his Achilles heel, it seems like, getting on pit road. And a lot of that can be contributed to, as he says, pushing the limits to pit road. What does that mean when you try to push the limits? Because is there something to be gained and lost on pit road just coming in and leaving the pit?
Actually, I believe Casey, he reminds me, last year he had more speeding pit road penalties than anyone else. So, but this year he's been awesome.
Yeah.
He has been awesome this year on pit road. I mean,
So Dega wasn't a problem for him.
No, he was within a half mile per hour, which is amazing.
He was being patient.
Why can't you just look at the speedometer?
He was aggressive, but good. So
why can't you just look at the speedometer?
We can't. We don't get to see that.
Now I know that's a ridiculous question, but do you know when they're coming in too hot?
No, we do not. We find out from NASCAR and our official when we sped on pit road. So we're finding out the same time you guys are finding out.
So there's no speeds posted. So how do you prepare for that?
During practice, NASCAR posts the speeds for us, so we can run pit road speed during practice, and we could look at the speeds at that time. And that is when we have the driver adjust his dash RPMs.
If I didn't have my speedometer on my car, and I was going 60, and then you took it away, or I had the speedometer, and then you took it away, I don't think I could match. I couldn't feel what 60 was again.
Right. Well, it's not that they don't have a speedometer. They're going off lights on their dash. We have these lights that they're trying to manage, and it's actually more precise than like 1 mile per hour. So they're down that thing into less than 1 mile per hour.
I still feel like that's a little more tough.
It is very tough,
especially when you're
pushing the limits as well.
Yeah.
And there's a lot going on pit road. You're trying not to run into anybody. You're trying to find out where your pit stall is.
Pit crew members.
Weepers,
there's stuff all over the place.
Water at the entrance to pit road.
That's right.
So
I'm yelling at him.
Crew chief in your ear. I mean, there's so many factors which.
There's a lot.
Let's focus on the pit crew now. Now, Jen, if you could go to our end of stage stops. These are the pit stops that are shown at the end.
Do you need my services for this?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
So at the end of stage stops, you see this is at the end of the first stage, second stage, that the cars are coming down. And what I noticed initially is, watch the 12-car Ryan Blaney come in. You'll see on the right side, the 2-pump right side, and that affects the speed of the stop significantly. Now, that is a veteran jackman. He is awesome, but at the same point, that's not an occurring thing, because as you see the 11 car, the 2 car, and the 22 car, as you notice their right sides, they're all 1-pump right sides. So the first stop was
that was 1 pump.
Yes, that was 1 pump. That's what you want to have. Now your 2 pump is going to be on the left side, but being at the first stage was mainly 2 tire stops. The next stage, these crew members are going to see the left side for the first time. And I believe, if you can point out to the 22 car, and Joey Logano, as they go to the left side, notice the jackman, this is the first time that they're on the left side of the car during the race. So he gives it the pump and a bump, but guess what? It's not high enough because
he didn't go all the way up with the second pump.
If you can pause it there, Jen, if you can explain some of the challenges your crew chief had in their setup in accommodating that left side of the car, what were some of the things that you...
Wait, can I interject here? Because it looked like on the second pump, he was already down. It wasn't
we call that more of a pump and a half.
Okay,
pump and a bump.
That's
pump and a half, pump and a bump.
Not 2 full
I feel like that was on my homework one of these times.
That's right. It was.
Okay,
failed.
But I noticed, see, it's gaining traction. So, yes, talk about the challenges.
So the number one challenge, we're doing everything for speed. We're trying to get the cars as low as possible. So that just tucks that tire up into that fender even further. Jack post is lower. But other than that, the schedule, like this weekend, the cars had to be impounded Saturday morning as soon as we got to the garage. The pit crews weren't there yet. Usually the pit crews can come over, race day.
Great point.
They check the jack, check the car.
Yeah,
why was
They're
the schedule
able to
like
look
that?
at it. It was an impound race. Like Talladega is an impound race. I believe we have 8 impound races.
So they
this year.
just...
So the pit crew are still flying in.
Right.
You know, so most pit crews will fly in, do the Xfinity race on Saturday, but they're not to the track yet. We had to be,
about that?
We had to be in tech line at 8 o'clock, and once you're in tech line, you can't touch it anymore. So really our pit crews, we did our homework, thankfully. We thought about this ahead of time, and I'm sure a lot of these guys did, but we had the guys come in the week of on Wednesday, and we set our car down on the ground, and we just looked at stuff, and that is when we set our jack. So
and point
we
being,
knew right away. You're
trying to facilitate the best possible situation for these guys, which just shows you how awesome these guys are. It's totally different during the race.
Oh,
so, I mean, you can simulate it all you want in the shop, but when you get out there on racetrack, air pressures and things, it's totally different.
So let's say that same scenario happens where the pump and a half, where it's not high enough. What are you saying to your team?
Besides yelling, get it up.
Right.
At that point, I'm just yelling
each
at
crew
them,
chief is different.
After the fact, are you saying
we were on the cautious side?
Okay.
We probably could have got away with one really good pump, but we did the pump and a half just to be cautious because you see there how much it did slow down the stop. It's better to go ahead and take it on the front side.
And that's only seconds, but that has a huge impact.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. For sure it does. And Talladega plays out to where the strategy, you're more or less trying to stay with the guys and not lose the pack, and everybody's kind of slowing everything down a little bit to the same pace.
Jen, could you play the adjustment stop? I want to show a team making a lot of adjustments on the car.
Is this a 4-car?
No, it is the Matt DiBenedetto car, and he's leading the race right now. And I just wanted to point out a team doing an awesome job of multiple adjustments. Well, that's the big saw.
That's a big adjustment.
Well, hold on. I think that this is referencing our big something
our big saw. And I really like what I saw here. I see a team innovating and coming up ways. Being that you're on a 6-minute clock now on crash repair.
What is this role called?
What do you think?
The big saw guy?
Talk about this, Travis.
That's awesome.
Is this something that you have in your arsenal now after seeing
we
this?
did not. We did not. I believe they've had that a little while. I think they've been looking for the right opportunity to pull that thing out.
And I think they found the right opportunity.
They did. They were excited about that.
It saves you time on pit road. When you're under a clock, the 6-minute clock, to get your car fixed and back out there, you need to utilize any advantage you can and try to get the work done.
6-minute clock.
Successfully.
Oh, for sure. That's impressive.
If you wreck your car, you have 6 minutes to fix it and get back out, or you have to.
I did not know that. See, I learn new things here every week, and I hope you guys do too. That's crazy. So, 6 minutes. Did they make it in the 6 minutes?
Yeah, they got back out there, and I believe they finished the race.
Do you want to get one of those? We could just put like MRN on the side of it. It would be, it would be our gift to you.
All right, yeah. If you guys want to give us one,
all right,
sure.
it's going to be actually a Nerf gun. We don't have the funding.
I'll use that from on top of the box. So.
Yeah. So what was the thing you were talking
how
about?
are we on time?
Oh, we're good. We're gonna speed through this.
Can you find that video, Jen, of the adjustment stops? Yes. Well, no, the Benedetto. Well, we can just talk about this stop right here. Play this video right here, and I just want to bring this point up. You see the 22 car. Look at the rear tire changer. Look how close that is. And notice he runs over the hose. Now, does this remind you of something?
Yeah.
It does to me. If you go back to Richmond, the Richmond race, you're going to see during the pit stop, the 41 car, Daniel Suarez, the same thing happened, right?
Yep.
And watch what happens with the gun. Boom, yanks it out the hand. Now that is something.
Good he wasn't holding on to it, because that could.
This happens more likely than not, So I just feel like there are things the teams could be doing.
We're gonna get more thoughts on this when we come back with more MRN Crew Call right after this.
Citywide to countryside, whatever you drive, wherever you go. Hercules Tires has the value, selection, and industry-leading warranty to get you there, no matter where the road takes you. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
Things happen fast in racing, and if you don't know where to look, you can miss it all. With Legend from Racing Electronics, you'll never miss another moment. Legend gives you live fan vision video, in-car cameras, and stats at NASCAR and other Premier Series events. And the next generation race scanner for unfiltered driver and crew audio at any motorsports event nationwide. NASCAR fans have never been closer to the action. Welcome to the future of the fan experience. Learn more by visiting racingelectronics.com.
Join MRN as we travel through the life of NASCAR's most popular driver, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. comes back to the Daytona International Speedway, leading the pack.
I won races that I never thought I'd win.
From growing up under the Earnhardt name to super speedway wins to Whiskey River, we dive into everything Dale Jr.
He's Rain Man for NASCAR history.
We weren't the typical family that got to sit down to dinner together.
Tune in to Junior's Journey, available on iTunes for download only on the Motor Racing Network.
Hello. You've reached the Fantasy Hotline. This is Candy. What flavor? Oh, that's the other job. Oh, you've reached MRN Crew Call. Here's Sammi, Joe, and Rocko.
We're just going to go ahead and add Travis's name to our rejoin. Sammi, Joe, Rocko, and Travis. Welcome back to MRN Crew Call.
He's been with us all day.
Presented by Hercules Tires.
Might have to
and
make it a regular
Apparel.
thing, right?
That's right. Yeah, I like it. I mean, it's a good mix.
Yep.
I like my Vanna White duties.
Can we talk about my hose again?
Excuse me?
Can we go back to that video?
Oh,
I want to talk about my hose.
So we're talking about your weekend activities, and I was like, I don't know.
Even my personal
All right,
life.
if we can go back to the video of the close calls.
Yes, with the hose. And basically, I'm just saying, I feel like that behind the wall crew is they can really manipulate that hose as it's laying around. Just a little slight pulling of it in, but
Don't pull too much.
But with the limited roster.
That's right.
How has that affected you? I feel like as a four-man team, as a four-car team, you could bring more people to the track.
Oh, for
but
sure.
now with the rules in place, limiting the people you can bring to the track, that has to play in line with you as a one-car team. Who do you bring to the track, and how does that affect you?
And something else that affects us as a one-car team, my underneath mechanic is also my gas man.
Oh.
So that eliminates us another person.
Mm-hmm.
So he counts as two on our roster. So we're actually down another man. So it is difficult. You know, we've got truck drivers out there, guys getting off the box to come down and help, my engineers. So it does affect us, but we make it work.
So, and in that, because everything is so quick, and I know it doesn't, it's just almost autopilot for them in our pit crews. But how difficult is it to be cognizant of a hose being out too far when you're trying to get these fractions of a second off of your time?
Oh, for sure. They can't.
You can simulate that in practice.
Oh, for sure.
But at the same time, like I just feel like there's nothing you can really do about it when it's like that. Now, maybe a behind-the-wall guy can
close.
Behind-the-wall guy probably could have pulled that in.
He could have pulled it in. And then when you have a car coming behind you, pit stall selection is so key here.
Oh, for sure.
Now, the 19 car could have pitted a little further back, forward, if he knew the 22 was behind him and they were going to be racing. But when you're picking stalls on pit road, are there certain guys you don't want to be about? Can you talk to us about the process involved?
Oh, he's about to throw some people under the bus.
No,
it's been tough this year.
He makes the decision.
I know.
These stalls, so
I try to make the best decision, and sometimes you get it right, sometimes you don't. But
do you have a preference?
I like to be P1.
Every time.
You know.
Whether there's like 4 or 5 good stalls besides P1 at every track, right? Could you elaborate?
Right. You have opening ins and opening out.
Yep.
And then after that, it kind of staggers the good cars every other car. So then the guys that don't qualify so well have to come in and fill in those positions.
Let me ask you this. How would you feel? You qualified P1, you're on the pole.
Yeah.
All right. And then a car that you're competing against qualified second.
Yep.
He pitched pit stall 2.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
You're in 1. Describe to us, the people who aren't there every day, what goes through your mind if that was you?
So all of us, pretty much.
Yeah.
All of us that aren't you guys.
What goes through my mind, I'm going to stay in front of him all day, so it's not going to affect me, right?
Yes.
You got to have that confidence.
That's right. You got to have that confidence. But you still have an opening straight forward, so you could come in and shoot forward. As long as you have an opening before or after, you could usually position yourself in the pit stall to get out easier.
I bring that up to illustrate the challenge that you would have if you did not stay in front of that car and you had to come around that second place car all day. Sure. And it's just in my mind, from my recollection, I would see certain crew chiefs, the tendency to do that more often than not. And it's just,
you're right.
And as a pit crew member, you get put in these positions, and it would aggravate me to the point where I would get fired up and motivated at the same time. I'm like, okay, we're going to make sure we beat their butt on pit road all day.
That's right.
And it just creates a sense
Somehow I feel like that's just how him and Casey Kane wake up every day. just guessing.
Don't let the face fool you. Travis is a fierce competitor.
Oh no, that is exactly what I was going.
This guy is
he
the
won
intramural.
Best Looking.
I used to call you the intramural champion because he would come with a different injury to the shop.
That's right.
You know,
get after it.
He's an athlete now, and then just your time and how you got to Hendrick Motorsports. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because you were pre-med. You wanted to be a doctor.
That's right.
Well, now he's a doctor of NASCAR.
Yeah,
he did.
Yeah, race cars.
PhD of NASCAR.
That's right. I kind of grew up around racing.
Yep.
And then I wanted to go to med school, and I thought that was going to be my career. And
you just kept getting roped back in, huh?
Yeah, I worked in the hospital a little bit, and I could have done that as my career. But then I realized there's a whole nother life down here, and I could do this and make a career out of it. So once I learned that, I was all in 100%.
And
no regrets.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
But as we go to Dover, you have a great new paint scheme.
That's right.
And
car.
Yes, the yellow. You can't miss it on the track.
He went from black to yellow, and I really like the look of the car. I love the number. It reminds me of Cars all day, Lightning McQueen.
Oh, yeah.
And then, Casey Kane probably still plays with Lightning McQueen, his little boyish
his kid does.
His boyish good looks.
Yeah.
But anyways.
I have a question because it is your first year as a crew chief, but it's also the first year that they've limited the number of people you can take. So going into the crew chief role, thinking, okay, these are the roles I will have.
Yeah.
Did that change your game plan when they said, no, you know what, we're actually going to limit it?
Not really, because on the small car teams, that's what they molded this whole roster limit off of.
So it played to your benefit.
So it molded to what our team already had in place as far as roster limits and crew members.
You're the reason they did it, actually. That's
it does help the smaller teams, and it saves a lot in travel costs for the big teams as well.
So we're headed to Dover. What are your realistic expectations?
Realistic?
And how much does your pit position matter at a track like Dover?
Dover is really crucial in where you start the race. More so where you start on the track than maybe your pit stall, but it goes hand in hand. So I'm real excited about. We're taking our Bristol car, which we had a really good car. Had a
we're
small
fast off
part
the
failure.
truck at Bristol.
That's right. We were fast all weekend. So we're taking the same car, some of the same stuff we've learned, and we're real excited about it. I'm looking right now just for a solid finish. I would love to finish a top 10.
Your relationship with Casey Kane, you might not have had the most contact with him at Hendrick Motorsports, but now that you're at Leavine family, how has that relationship matured or changed, if any at all? But I remember you I just always remember you as little T-Mac, little Travis.
Right.
And now that you're the big time man,
you're so nostalgic over there.
Yeah, I know. Having him here, but now that you're the man and the influence you've had from the crew chiefs you've been experienced, how's that shaped your relationship with Casey Kane?
Oh man, I've tried to learn from all the different crew chiefs I've worked with. I've worked with Chad and Robbie Loomis and Steve Letard and a lot of crew chiefs that has come through our 24, 48, and 88 shop. So I've tried to take a little bit out of each of those crew chiefs and take the best parts of them
and make a hybrid.
And just
it's the Prius of all
make
of them.
me out of them. So I try to do the best I can with what I've learned through
I'm going to have you do me a solid. Will you hand me that paper right there?
I sure can.
All right, see? This is teamwork. Rocko, have you ever handed me papers?
No, I have not.
You haven't. All right, this week we've got coverage. Of course, you've got pole qualifying at 3 p.m. That is on Friday.
Yep.
Or no, Saturday?
Yep.
Friday.
Whatever
Friday.
you say.
Sorry, Friday. And then we've got the truck race at 4:30, and then you've got the Xfinity race at 1 on Saturday, and then Sunday, of course, it is the AAA 400 Drive for Autism. Please tune in and root for Casey Kane and Travis.
No.
We'll see you next week.
Thanks, Travis.